John Lennon once said, and it was in relation to his song Revolution. He was sort of having like an open interview session in New York in 1972. And I think the actual video is up on YouTube. But he said to this guy in the audience who asked him about what the song meant and various lines in the song. And he said, John Lennon said, and I thought it was probably the wisest, most profound thing that John ever said. And he said a lot of very wise, profound things, you know. But he said about revolution, if you want to change the world, do it subtly. Do it in a way that the establishment and the powers that be don't understand. So 15 and a half years ago, that's what I set out to do. And I want to welcome all the new subscribers to this channel, to Bealtaine Cottage. But I also want to point you all in a very important direction, and that is to the website and to the menu at the top of the website, and to the photographs of how Bealtaine Cottage looked 15 and a half years ago, in 2004. And once you see those photographs, then you'll understand the entire context of what it is I'm saying now. And it's about revolution, and it's about changing the world. Because what I've discovered through everything that I've done here in creating and co-creating with Mother Earth, it's very important, co-creating with Mother Earth, a woodland paradise, I've discovered that it is the most powerful form of protest against everything that is so visible to the people of Earth at this time. Because what I felt 15 and a half years ago was a powerlessness. I left the UK shortly after the decision to invade Iraq, and I was one of the 1 million plus people on that march in London. And when I realised that the power of protest had no power, I was angry, very angry. Now when I get angry, it is a powerful energy, and it is connected to my bloodline, you know, and being Irish, being Celtic, being an O'Neill, coming from probably the most powerful family in Ireland, which is the O'Neills. Ireland was once known as the land of the Great O'Neill, because within the family of O'Neill were many, many leaders. Leaders kept coming up from O'Neill. And so when I got angry, it was a powerful energy which can go one of two ways. That kind of powerful energy can go one of two ways, and this is why women at this point in time are so important. Growing up with 5 brothers, I learned that the energy can be taken into wild violence. Now, not that my brothers were ever wildly violent, but I could see the direction of the energy and how it impacted, how it came forth, how it was birthed in anger and driven and pulled and created a chaos which was so powerful that it seemed to cause oblivion of everything that was important. And an ensuing chaos that would take generations and generations to sort out and heal and rechannel. Or that energy can be taken the other way, into this. Where the energy itself created an enormous power of will that had me digging and planting and mowing and strimming and creating paths and nurturing and going at it hammer and tongs, day and sometimes night. I laugh when I think about wearing my head torch and out here in the dark planting. And I'll tell you when that happened. That happened very much during the year of 2005, 2006, when for a whole year I had full custody, care and control of my 2 little grandsons, who were aged 6 and 7. So that was a full-time job in itself. So I rarely got out during the day to do what it was I needed to do. So I often, once they were in bed, came out here at night with my head torch and planted. Now that, to me, is the most powerful form of revolution. When you take the anger and the frustration and sometimes the sadness and the grief and all those emotions that can be really chaotic in your head and cause chaos throughout your life. When you take those emotions and you harness them and you channel them and you work with them and you say thank you for the energy. I understand now what energy is. And you can see I'm still working, because work now has become a powerful form of protest, a powerful form of revolution. So I'm not just working on the land and with Mother Earth. I'm working on social media. I'm working by writing. I'm working by showing what is possible and giving a little bit of direction to so many people who are now feeling that same level of anger and frustration that I once felt. That I no longer feel. Well, occasionally I'll have a rant about something which in the heat of the moment can be worth channeling some of that creative energy onto a video or a blog or the Facebook or the Twitter sites of Bealtaine Cottage. So I wasn't actually going to do a video today. I was going to wait another couple of days because I'm just enjoying working here in the gardens. But it's so beautiful out here, and the colours are so amazing. I just wanted to share it. And you can see a lot of the work now that I've been doing. In fact, if I stand up here, I've got, you can see all the work I've been up to and all the planting. And then you can see where I've taken a lot back off the top of the drive just to open it up. And I'm working my way down now along here. I'll walk down the drive. I've been through the gardens this morning and just in my mind's eye identifying work that I'll be happily engaging with over the coming months. I say coming months in a very leisurely way, but of course they pass very quickly, and I was walking down here last night just listening to the blackbirds through the trees and the other birds as they settled in for the night. Now where's that boy gone to? Jack? Jack? There he is now. Probably didn't hear me. Likes to sit down there just and watch the road, but only when I come out does he ever go down this drive. Just to set your mind at rest, by the way. So yeah, I was walking down here last night and it was just so beautiful. Now that's interesting. Look at that. As the leaves are starting to clear from the trees, can you see the nest up there? You see it? Amazing. And the different coloured leaves. Look at that beautiful red one. And the lovely autumn light now. Of course you can see straight up the drive, because before the trees came right out there onto the sort of side, it was very difficult to see. So that's the first time that I've cut that back in 15 years. So a lot of you ask questions, you leave questions in the comments. Now, I don't usually have enough time to engage with answering questions on the comments. I read all the comments, and that's why I put a little heart beside each one to show that I've actually read it. So I take some of the issues that you raise and then try to answer them casually in videos like this, though it's not primarily set to answer questions. But I'm just trying to think now of some of the questions that you asked me. Asked me about willow and arches. How do you make arches? Archways. You can make archways out of anything. If you look at nature, she's making her own archways. So just copy what she does. If you watch the way that willow grows, it begins to fall over slightly because it's very bendy. It's very easy to make an arch out of willow. Then there are other questions like, where did you start planting? Well, all that's documented on the website, bealtainecottage.com, and below every single video there are links to the website, which you only have to click on and it'll take you straight through. And below every single video there are also links to the Bealtaine Cottage Press, where the books and maps and calendars are for sale. And again, you only have to click on the link and it'll take you through. So I go to the effort of putting those links below every video. So if you just take a moment just to click on the little arrow, which is usually on the right hand side underneath the video, and then that opens up the text box below the video, and that will take you through to all those links. Okay? Other questions? My mind goes off into a very meditative zone, you know, when I'm walking this land. I need to put my thinking cap on. It's very difficult to do, you know, when I'm walking the land here. Because it is very otherworldly. And it's quite timeless. I feel quite otherworldly. I don't feel as though I'm in any particular time zone, or I was going to say place and time, but I know I'm here in Ireland, in the west of Ireland. People have asked me, did I have any, you know, what was it that brought me to Ireland, brought me back to a life of sort of impoverishment for so long? And of course, I think I've answered that at the beginning of this video. Look at these incredible colours. Little insects down there in the pond. It's very tranquil this morning. Come. Now, of course, I've got masses of work to be getting on with. I was going to go out over the weekend, but I've just got involved in being on the land and working. Something I so enjoy. I don't get tired. I just go from a state of working into a state of exhaustion. so I never really know what it's like to feel tired, as I think tiredness is a whole gamut of emotions. Just walk up through here. So this is where I put a lot of the stuff that I cut back. Again, just forming a nice big habitat and food pile. So I was cutting quite a lot of the boutillier as well, and you can see in here. The seed heads, well, those seed heads you see will feed birds through the winter. You don't necessarily have to leave them on the branches of a tree, but if you do cut them, then form a food pile or a habitat pile. A habitat pile is perfect because little birds and little rodents, little mice can go in there and they have their food just beside them. So that's sort of perfect, really. There's it's a tiny little horse chestnut tree that I grew from seed and I planted in there at the beginning of the year. So I'm hoping now that that will prosper. Of course it means me having to cut back a little bit of the stuff which is above it, but not much, just enough to give it that necessary light. So, if you wanted to know more about Bealtaine Cottage and the Bealtaine project, of course, there is the first book, A Cottage in 3 Acres. Just hearing little sounds. This is beautiful leaf cover now. I think this is remarkable when all these colours start to, create this wonderful mosaic floor. Forest floor. So as I clear some of the paths further down, I'll take you down on some woodland walks where we don't normally go. Lovely colours here. So, revolution. Because Lenin also said, of course, the powers that be don't understand any of this. And it's true, they don't. They don't. And you'll often hear me say in videos, I make a point of flying under the radar. And I don't have to try very hard to fly under the radar, because the radar is actually set quite high. You see? Because the powers that be don't get it. They don't get that. They just don't get it. Isn't that a great thing for us? The best they can do is try to buy this already made. And then they don't know how to engage with it, you see. And look at that. Look at those 3 beautiful, 4 shaggy ink-cap mushrooms, and the little bird's nest fern that has grown quite naturally beside it. So, on that note, I shall say have a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Now I'm going to have to take this little video into town to upload it, because my laptop is telling me it doesn't have enough storage space on it, and that's only because I don't have internet, and I've got to go to a place where there is internet for the uploads to go up onto iCloud. I know it sounds very complicated, but I sort of understand it in my own way, and that's enough. So, don't really want to leave you. I could just stand here all day and hold the camera for you. Beautiful. Many, many blessings to you all.